Yes! Hello! Welcome to the Seattle Makers podcast. We are rapidly updating the podcast format, and we have just now gotten to the point where we can do everything without having to spend an extra half hour editing it afterwards. So, yeah, thank you to our new help. I don't know if our new help wants to be mentioned on camera.
Might or might not be his name.
His name may or may not be Trey, and we may or may not be really glad that we're not trying to do technical things while we are presenting. So, yeah.
Yes. So, today we got some exciting and some sad news. Number one, we are expanding. We are building out our downstairs woodshop, and we actually have a shot of it. We have catted out. Thank you, Michael, for doing a model of every little piece in our shop, including all the tools, all the furniture, and our plan is to build it out, move it all downstairs, and be able to, there we go, turn the key and open up a much larger wood shop. So this is 1/40th scale. Most recently we were figuring out if we could fit a full-size saw stop that just went up for auction. I think in Everett it was, but it was like already $3,000 on the first day, so we're like, well, that's close to full price, but it does fit. We can fit a full size saw stop in there, so I'm gonna be looking to get one of those. And then all the other tools, in gray, we already have upstairs, and we're just gonna move it down and set them up so we have more room to go to each station and use them instead of having to set it up and kind of make sure it's secured and all that.
For those of you who don't know, the cool thing about a saw stop versus just a normal table saw is it has a capacitive sensor in the blade. So if you're a person who's not used to running a table saw and you touch the blade, it like fires an aluminum grid into the back of it and will not cut your hand, which is amazing and pretty much the only way we could have, with any reasonable degree of confidence, a table saw in a space like this. But
pretty much the only way I can reasonably get sleep at night, having
exactly, like
new people learning a saw. There's so many ways for that to go badly, but
safety is a thing. And when you do anything that's like a new and growing deal, is like there's always that balance of how much risk you accept, because learning is always risky. But this is, the way that we can do it. The important thing that we were talking about earlier is our milestone, at least loosely, where we're expanding downstairs, is 100 members.
Right.
We're going to get some thermometer or something back up here in short order for future episodes to kind of track our progress there. But that's the point where we're really able to do it. So if you're watching this and you either know someone who's about to sign up or are about to sign up yourself, do it. We need you. This is your space. We want it to grow, and therefore it needs you.
Yes. And let's take a moment to just check out these little guys. So this is our chop saw. I love this stuff. This is great. On the other wall, can't quite see it, but we do have our drill and our lathe. And we're gonna throw these up on Thingiverse, so you guys can download your own tools and put them in your shop and play dollhouse with your wood shop.
In the case that you're watching this from Florida and you can't afford to fly up here every week to use our wood shop, you can just imagine.
Pretend.
Be like Michael Jordan as he visualized making free throws and winning championships. Visualize being in the Seattle Makers wood shop.
So unfortunately, not all makerspaces are expanding. We just heard in the past few weeks that UW Comotion is closing to the public, which is tragic news. I think it's a very bad decision. I'm a little bit biased, but obviously.
Well, it's probably a good decision for the health of this particular makerspace.
Yeah, but you never want to see a makerspace close down. And it was the start of so many projects and ideas, and the reasoning was, and I totally understand the funding aspect, but the patents that were supporting it went away, and we're no longer funding it. But I also think that's kind of backwards, where you need the makerspace to come up with the ideas to, share ideas and have the collaboration that leads to more patents. So shutting that down is kind of counterintuitive. And it seems like it needs to be a higher priority for a space like the University of Washington, which is in a much better place to fund spaces like these.
And to be fair, I don't think either of us want to cast too much judgment, because if I know one thing about the university environment is that there's a lot going through there, and it very well could be, knowing what some of the administrative pressures on spaces like this and or on student spaces could be. It very well could be, here's this one thing that's an okay opportunity but creates a massive liability for UW. And they could be instead being like, we want to put the money into some more classic extracurriculars like Formula SAE. Benefit of the doubt. I hope that's what they did, and I hope it wasn't just like a make another dorm kind of stodgy decision.
And we might never know the whole story, but it's kind of an end of an era.
And it's like, I don't know, the thing that comes out of this for me is like, we're glad it existed. If you're coming from Commotion and we're affected by that, by all means, please come here. We're happy to have you, and that's not strictly a business, but business is an evolving thing, and like spaces are an evolving thing. And it's sad that it closed, but hopefully it can be a good like citywide opportunity for how do we take that knowledge that was just the thing about a university space is, even myself as a UW alum, I feel kind of weird walking back across the campus. Like, there's almost a little bit of like inherent gatekeeping, like I'm not paying tuition anymore, should I be here? And hopefully what we can harness by people not having to go into that space is like more people coming to a more accessible area.
Yeah. Even if it was like limited access or intro to some of the things that you could do, I think that would really open up things. As well as like, I know Google's actually opening a makerspace just down the street, which they could totally open part of it to be public or collaborate with, I don't know, neighborhood makerspaces. Yeah. But yeah, these places want to be free and open, and I think it'd be a ton of goodwill and interest from the public to have the places who can support it keep them open.
So, again, on the note of how we can positively come from this, what can you learn here?
Yes, we are very much open to the public, and we have an upcoming laser cutter certification Saturday, the 23rd from 3 to 6. You can learn on our 90-watt, 2-foot by 3-foot laser beds, everything from cutting leather to plastic to we have rotary tools, so you can etch coffee mugs, pumpkins, pint glasses. It's one of the most versatile tools, so definitely check that one out.
This is the laser cutter thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was etched. The laser cutter.
It was supposed to go on a wrench drawer, which is why the singular wrench has the name wrenches, and that has perpetually amused me. But
well, if you put it next to the other wrenches, it'll be a little more at home. Much better. We also have Tinkercad, which is a class where you can learn how to design in 3D. It's a very straightforward, easy to pick up program. It's very visual. You're grabbing blocks with the mouse and stretching them out. So if you're a big geek into CAD, you can jump in on that class. It's every Sunday. The Sunday the 24th and the week after from 11 to 12:30. And we also have the first part of our CNC design class. So we've broken that into 2 pieces. There's a lot to digest there, but the first part you get to learn V-carve, which is the design portion, and we get to give this like $500 to $1,000. I forget what the current pricing. Very expensive, very capable program away for free to our members. It's like the limited trial edition, but we get to give unlocked version away, and then you just come in to do your cuts on the CNC, which is next week we're doing the second portion. So this Sunday, 4 to 6, you can learn the design portion. Next Saturday, the 30th, from 3 to 6, you can actually learn how to run the CNC, set up your clamps, and run your cuts.
I want to jump in on that Tinkercad thing here. I'm a firm believer in, like, everyone should know how to change their oil and sew a hole closed in their shirt and a little bit of CAD. And it's really not any harder to learn than Microsoft Word. And I mean, like, basic Microsoft Word. Like, you don't even need to know what those crazy buttons do, because Microsoft Word is actually a super complicated program when you get into it. Like, if you can figure out how to write a nicely formatted lab report or, like, a nicely formatted email, you can figure out how to do Tinkercad. And then, you know, between that and the CNC, this is kind of a, I don't know, Victorian era medical example, but you can cut things like this. You know, this just happens to be the one on the wall. You know, we've also done sea creatures and other things and whatnot. You know, you put a piece of wood in the CNC carver. Here, I'll go.
A lot of these designs can be made on the in Tinkercad too. So a lot of these basic shapes. This is a more complex 3D shape, but yeah, a lot of these designs can be tweaked and designed just by pulling shapes together.
I totally thought you were trying to tell me to use the close-up cam and then just like obscured your example.
That too. Yeah, just roll with it.
Sure. But yeah, don't be scared of the fact that Tinkercad has the word CAD in it, because you can do it. Like, probably if you're 10 or 12, you could do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, just want to let everybody know we're closed for Thanksgiving. We're closing early at 6 p.m. on that Wednesday, and then we'll be closed the next 2 days. So Thursday and Friday, back open for the weekend to make all the things. So yeah.
Community health report.
Community health report. So we are at 77 members with a goal of 100. And we also have been open for 811 days with a goal of forever.
Of perpetuity.
Forever.
Yeah. 77 is up like one from last week. But again, to that point, like, our goal is to hit 100 people by the end of the year. So that's probably, sooner or later, you'll start seeing our faces in Facebook ads here. So if you do see those, and you're one of the few people who's the core founding members of this podcast, give us a shout out and a comment and a like and a share, and be like, hey, good job making some videos and finding me again for your measly amount of highly targeted ad money. So
yeah, and we're adding some cool meetups too. So you can come to our electronics meetup. We're also doing a 3D pen class, so you can learn how to play with a 3D pen, and you can walk away with one. So yeah, also you can send us an email, let me know what you want to put out there, because we're open to all kinds of things, and that's how we get a lot of our content and a lot of our meetups. It's like, hey, you guys hosting this? Now we are.
Yeah. Like, what is your email, by the way?
You can, like, info at
seattlemakers.org?
Contact. It's contact
at
at
seattlemakers. We'll probably put it in the description as long as I don't forget.
Yes.
Okay. More on the expansion side and of us getting bigger. The Burien spot.
Yeah, so I just got a call from Burien Makerspace coordinators. They are putting together a makerspace down in Burien, so we had a whole conversation about that. If you're down in Burien, find them, support them. They may be buying our 3D printers, or we may be actually traveling down there to support them and do some classes, train some other people. And if you're in this Seattle area, give us a call. Love to share what we know, what we've learned, the machines not to buy. We've definitely done a few of those. That's definitely something to avoid. And also, like, the easiest curriculum and free software that you can put into your makerspace, so that people can start working with things with a low barrier to entry, both on cost and just the learning curve on how to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to get to that point where you make something and have it in your hand, and then you're like,
yeah,
oh, I did that. Like, what else can I do with this? And that's what really piques the interest of learning. I think it's kind of the opposite of how we learned in school. It's like, yeah, go learn programming, and then someday you'll do something cool. Whereas if you see a robot and you want to make it, you're like, all right, what do I need to learn? Give me it.
Well, and that's really why I think spaces, again, I say this like every other week, but that's why a space like this is so valuable, is the reason schools teach the way that they do is, they try and get you to do a simple thing and then a more complicated thing and then a more complicated thing. And inevitably, when you're trying to learn on your own, which you're usually doing if you want to figure out how to do robots or whatever, you're like, let me do something that walks and leaps across tall buildings. And then you do one of two things. Either you cry alone in a basement for 6 months, and then you realize that you get something that's like a third of Boston Dynamics, and hopefully you call it a successful project and move on, or you don't get off the ground and then, the universe is sad because it has one less robot.
Yes.
But, like, the good thing about being here is, you can talk to the guys who tried that before, and, like, it took me 4 tries to find a good photogrammetry software one time, and then I finally got something that kind of worked,
Oh, yeah?
And
What's that?
I used Regard 3D and a little bit of Meshroom.
Cool. We wanted to do some images of our heads and then get them up on the big 3D printer, which is alive now. It's
okay.
Chase has been tweaking that, so we
news.
now have a 12 by 12 by 12 3D printer capability.
12 by 12 by 12
inches.
That's like this much.
It's huge.
It's huge. Anyway. Yeah. So all that from Burien. Burien has a thing.
Go Burien.
What's their Makerspace name? How do we shout them out?
We don't know yet. I think they were looking for a manager. So they're still kind of in the fundraising. They're going with the nonprofit route and getting a manager, and then they're going to be working to build a team and get it all into a space. So more news on that as it develops.
Good to know. Speaking of fundraising, we have better ways to support this Makerspace and this podcast and all the fun stuff that we do.
Yeah, we're getting our social media game going. So we're going to be having projects and tutorials and interviews and just cool shots of stuff people saw in space. On all the platforms, on the Facebook, the YouTube. We're going to get these posted up behind us.
Okay, I was about to say.
Instagram, Twitter, and we do have a Patreon. So, the easy way to follow us and support us is to go to all those and go to seattleMakershq. And if you'd like to become a supporter under Patreon, go to patreon.com/seattlemakers. And
like we're gonna get merged by LucasArts.
This was we made this in our first couple of months. We're like, this is a great idea, and I think we just pulled it up today. So we're gonna tweak that. But can we pull that back up? Person who shall not be named. Mic outage. We're kind of learning.
Yeah, so you didn't hear us talking at all while we were on the scene. It's not the fault of your computer.
It was the most brilliant conversation we've had. No.
Iterative design, folks. We reach for new things, and we get good at old things, and we fail at new things, and we learn and we get better.
As you do. So yeah, we're just looking at the Patreon page. Those are all things that we can still deliver on. and we're gonna be adding some new things because we've been making stuff for like a year and a half since then, and we actually just sold our first T-shirt. So
we did
T-shirts and coffee mugs. We can laser etch our designs, and we're just gonna be open up the door for people to get some swag or support us.
So are the T-shirts on Patreon yet?
No.
Like, if I become a backer, can I get a T-shirt?
I think you can. Tune in next time.
Because I don't know about you, but I'm kind of greedy. Like, I don't really give to Patreons that are like a regular thing. Although, if you're that kind of person and you're nicer than me, congratulations on being nicer than me. But I will totally buy T-shirts. Especially, we need like a super like grunge SeattleMakers T-shirt.
We have a few of our early prototypes when we didn't have the temperature right on the vinyl.
Yeah, and the vinyl's like coming half off. I would wear that.
All right, I got a special deal for you.
Okay, cool.
It's extra. It's like one of those pre-conditioned fancy mall shirts. That.
Wait. We need to do a Hawaiian shirt with SeattleMakers on it.
I knew that was coming. Somehow. Cool. We'll stay tuned for the Hawaiian T-shirts. Laser etched pineapples, what have you.
Okay, what else do we have?
That's all for us.
Okay, so please be sure to like and share. Obviously, we're still crossing some technical hurdles, but we've really gotten to the point where this is a thing. You know, we're kind of kicking it out of the crib, so to speak, and letting it fly. If birds and we're doing a thing now. So if you're one of these 16 hardcore OG fans who is watching this right now, please, by all means, like, share, hit the YouTube things that are here, because that helps us get in the algorithm. It helps more people see it and learn about the space, and it helps more people come into the space and helps us do more awesome things.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Ciao.